Self-improvement isn't just aesthetics. It's discipline, mindset, and showing up. No fluff, just real talk. Welcome to another self-love podcast. Let's get into it. You've probably heard it 1,000 times. If you want success, you have to want it more than sleep. And while I get the message, let's be real. If you never sleep, your body crashes, your mind slows down, and your goals don't get met. So what are we really doing here? Success isn't about how hard you can grind. It's about how well you can take care of yourself while still going after what you want. Because burnout, it doesn't just steal your energy. It steals your passion, your joy, your creativity, and honestly, your peace. And I know what it's like to think, if I just keep going a little harder, I'll make it. But let me tell you, if the path to your goals is leaving you exhausted, numb, or constantly questioning if it's worth it, that's not success. That's self-abandonment in disguise. So in today's episode, we're getting honest about what it really looks like to chase big goals without losing yourself in the process. How to stay ambitious without burning out, how to rest without guilt, and how to keep pushing without falling apart. If you've ever felt like slowing down meant falling behind, or you've been riding the line between hustle and exhaustion, this episode is for you. I want to start this off by being real with you. I've spent the majority of my 20s running on fumes. For years, I worked a full-time job while trying to build a business, and I still worked night shifts until 4 a.m. I've done that for 9 years now. 9 years of choosing the grind, telling myself that this is what it takes, that this is normal, that I could handle it. I pushed my body to the edge, thinking I was being productive, but in hindsight, I honestly don't know how far it even got me. What was really fueling me? It wasn't just ambition. It was this deep-rooted need to be independent, to prove I could do it all on my own. I didn't want to rely on anyone. And that mindset pushed me into this hyperdrive of go, 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 no matter how drained I felt physically or mentally. And let me tell you, there's a difference between being ambitious and being constantly depleted, between pushing yourself and punishing yourself. I've always said that health is one of my biggest pillars, but now I understand it so differently. I've learned to respect the recovery side of health, the pause, the rest, the boundaries. It's still hard. I'm still working those 4 a.m. nights sometimes. I still wake up early because I'm wired that way, but now I pay attention. I listen to my body more than I ever have before. I ask myself, do I need to rest today? Do I need to scale back to show up better tomorrow? Because here's what I know. I don't want to succeed at the cost of burning out. I don't want to cross the finish line completely drained and disconnected from myself. And I'm still in the thick of it. I still struggle with this. Some weeks I feel like I've nailed the balance, and other weeks I'm right back in the spiral of doing too much. But that's growth. That's the process. It fluctuates, and that's okay. I just remind myself, my journey doesn't need to look like anyone else's. My definition of success includes peace now. It includes energy. It includes feeling good on the inside. There's this idea we've all internalized that grind mode is the ultimate symbol of success. That if you're not exhausted, you're not doing enough. But I want to challenge that because being drained, sleep deprived, and constantly overwhelmed isn't the same as being driven. It's just unsustainable. Let's reframe what hard work really means. Hard work isn't running yourself into the ground to prove a point. Hard work is showing up with intention. It's putting in effort and protecting your energy. It's knowing the difference between being productive and just being busy. Success doesn't come from chaos. It comes from rhythm. That's why it's so important to build a sustainable rhythm, one where your drive and your rest coexist, where your to-do list isn't the boss of your well-being, and where you're not just sprinting toward a goal, you're pacing yourself for the long haul. I had to learn this the hard way. I used to believe I could just push through everything: sleep, exhaustion, burnout, all of it. But the truth is, your nervous system keeps the score. And at some point, your body will slow down whether you like it or not. So now I ask myself regularly, is what I'm doing right now adding to my life or draining it? Because success without peace is just burnout in disguise. And here's something we don't talk about enough: respecting your capacity. Some days you have more to give, other days you don't. That doesn't make you lazy. That makes you human. Learning how to listen to your body, your energy, and your limits, that's real discipline. You can push when it's time to push, and you can rest when it's time to rest. That's what longevity looks like. Because the version of her you're becoming, she doesn't just get things done, she honors herself in the process. All right, let's get into the practical side of this. Here are 3 takeaways to help you stay driven without burning out. 1, create non-negotiables that protect your energy. These are the promises you keep to yourself, especially when no one's watching. For me, that looked like deciding I'm not taking early morning meetings if I just worked until 4 a.m. the night before. I used to think pushing through was impressive, but I've learned that honoring my limits is an actual flex. Think of non-negotiables like your internal contracts. They exist to protect your peace, your sleep, your focus. Ask yourself, what are the things I need in order to feel like me? Those things should be off limits to compromise. Even something like keeping your morning coffee quiet and phone-free can be a sacred act of self-respect. 2, schedule your hustle and your recovery. We're so conditioned to glorify the grind, and if you don't actively schedule your recovery, your body will do it for you, usually in the form of burnout or breakdown. There were weeks where I didn't schedule any rest. I thought I could just earn it later. Spoiler alert, that doesn't work. I hit a wall, both emotionally and physically. So now I pencil in my walks. I literally block out time to stretch, to breathe, to do nothing. It sounds small, but this helps me stay in the game long term. It's not just about working hard, it's about recovering well. That's where your clarity and creativity come from. 3, audit what's draining you. Burnout doesn't just come from doing too much. It also comes from doing things that don't align. I started asking myself, what am I saying yes to that's actually a no? Sometimes it's digital clutter, notifications, messages, comparison. Other times it's people-pleasing or overcommitting. I realized that every time I gave energy to something that didn't serve me, I was stealing from the future version of myself. Start small. Maybe you delete one app, say no to one thing, or let go of one obligation that doesn't feel right anymore. That's how we take our power back. So here's the truth. Success that costs your health, your peace, or your joy isn't really success. You deserve to feel good while building the life you want. Not every season will be perfectly balanced, but your well-being has to stay part of the equation. You're not weak for needing rest. You're not lazy for setting boundaries. You're wise for choosing the long game. If this resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Send me a message, share this episode, or leave a review. It means so much and helps the podcast reach more people who need these conversations too. Next week, we're diving into something I think a lot of us are finally starting to understand. Growth doesn't have a finish line. Episode 7 is called Becoming the Next Version of You, Personal Growth as a Constant Evolution, Not a Final Destination. We'll be talking about how to embrace the becoming phase instead of chasing the arrival. Because honestly, the next version of you isn't waiting at the top of the mountain. It's built in the little shifts you're making every day. I can't wait for this one. As always, thank you for spending part of your day with me. I don't take it for granted.